Heat Press Nation is pleased to announce the expansion of our direct-to-film selection. Introducing DTF Station printers, supplies, and equipment. DTF printing has been experiencing a huge surge in popularity the past few years, captivating print shops worldwide with its capabilities. These printers enable shops to maintain full color transfer production in-house. Given the stability and the resilience of the cured transfers, they can be shipped to clients who then apply them using their own garments and equipment. This effectively serves two distinct sales channels with just one printer. Add DTF printing to your business with the Prestige A4, R2, and R2 Pro direct-to-film printers by DTF Station. These machines are complemented by DTF Station's powdering, curing, and roll-to-roll processing machines, in addition to a full selection of DTF materials and supplies. These machines come with detailed online tutorials and free lifetime technical support. If you're looking for DTF, you can find it at HPN. Hello, hello, hello. Thank you so much for joining us for another episode of Heat Press Nation Live. My name is Jared. I'll be your, I want to say host, but I'll be your guide. I'll be your pal for the next few minutes as we talk about something that honestly, it's been a long time coming. And I'm so excited that Heat Press Nation now is proud to carry direct-to-film printers. And just this week, we launched our brand new line of DTF Station. And it's printers, it's supplies, and equipment. So we're gonna be talking all about that in this live stream. If you have any questions at all, please feel free to drop it in the chat. We're live on both Facebook and YouTube right now. So if anybody has any questions, please feel free to drop it in there. I'm gonna open up our other, I'm kind of bouncing between the two. B. Evan says hi. Oh, hey. D says, good to see you again. Yes, it is good to see you too. And then Sarah the Artsy Ninja says, nice. Yeah, very cool. So we're really happy to have everybody tuning in. I see people kind of just adding on to the stream, just joining in, which is very cool. And so, super excited. So today, we're pretty much doing everything DTF. We're gonna be going through the full process. So if you've been curious about direct-to-film printing and how it works, that's what we're gonna be covering today. I'm gonna be doing kind of a half-live demonstration. So we're gonna be heat pressing our items in just a moment, a little bit later right now. But for this first part of the demo, I would have loved to have had everything live here in the studio. We did have to pre-record some portions, so we're actually gonna get that going right now. So what you're about to see is the full process, partially pre-recorded, but you're gonna see everything that goes into producing a direct-to-film print. So give me just a second here. So we're gonna go ahead and just, okay, nice. So here's an example. Now, if you're asking, what is direct-to-film? Direct-to-film is actually a really concise, basically it's a description of the process. So this is a piece of film. In fact, oh no, you can't see it right here. Oh, here we go. Okay, so check it out. You can see our printer, and what it's doing is it's laying the ink directly onto the film. Now, what's cool about this printer, this right here is the Prestige A4 from DTF Station. What's really unique about this printer is not only is it printing in full color, but on top of the color, it's laying down a base layer of white. Now, it's that extra white ink that allows us to customize any color garments. If you're coming from sublimation, you know that you can only customize white garments or light colored garments. With direct-to-film, you can do any color. So once the ink has been printed onto the film, it's gonna be wet and it's just ink. The ink doesn't stick directly to your material. So what we have to do is apply an adhesive powder. As you can see here, I'm using what's called a Seismo S20. This is a powdering station or an automated shaker, whatever you want to call it. And so what it does is it actually has a vibrating mechanism that shakes the entire rack on this machine where my print is. And as you can see here, as I depress the lever, it's gonna add kind of like a waterfall of powder directly over my print. And so as the powder falls over the print, it's gonna be sticking to the wet ink. And what the shaking does is the shaking shakes off all the excess powder. You see right here, I'm gonna give it a little flick. That's just a habit from powdering the prints. The whole point of the Seismo is that you don't have to do that. It'll shake it off for you. So now that it has the adhesive powder on it, we need to cure the powder to the print. And that's gonna be done. You could do it in a heat press. However, because of the enclosed space where we're filming, I like to use something like the Phoenix Air. Now, the Phoenix Air is a specialized curing oven, and it has a built-in fume extractor with air purification. So it's specially designed for the process. Honestly, it's so much easier to use the Phoenix Air than it is to cure in a heat press. And what you're looking at here is after the powder has been cured, it's been basically melted to the ink. And you should get what we call like an orange peel texture to it. And then you get this. You have this film that's ready to be applied onto my garment. I already did one here. I have a different print here that you can kind of see. This is just an example of something you can do. I'm gonna press this right now. But here's something that I have to share about direct-to-film transfers that make this process super unique. So this transfer right here, it's actually very durable. It's very resilient to the point where I could put it in like an airtight bag and I can actually ship this to my customer across the country, across the world, even if you wanted to. And then they, with their heat press, they could actually apply this onto their own garment. In the world of direct-to-film, producing transfers is just as lucrative, if not more lucrative in some cases, than actually customizing the t-shirt. So you're basically able to serve like two different sales channels. You could have your garment decoration business doing what I'm about to show you right now, or you could just print the transfers for people. Maybe your customers, they have a heat press, but they don't have a printer. You could print for them and sell them just the transfer. So that's two different kinds of customers, and you're able to serve both of them with one printer. So I'm gonna check back in here really quick. Oh, here we go, nice, we got some questions. D says the size is nice, yeah. Roseanne says, interesting screen name. Oh, you know, you probably saw what we named something. Here we go, what's up everybody? The size is nice, hi Roseanne. Hey everybody, everybody's saying hi. I'm just checking in on the comments here. Sarah says, looks expensive. So this printer right here starts off at right around $19.95. And then once you add the printers and ink and the printers, it is the printer. Once you add the ink and the supplies, it comes out to right around $2,300-$2,400. Please forgive me if I don't have exact numbers off the top of my head. My pal Ronnie, she's actually in the comments right now. She'll be commenting links to the products if you guys have questions about like pricing or where to find it. Heat Press Nation, the royal we've added so many new direct-to-film products that I have not yet memorized all the prices yet. So please forgive me if I'm not quoting 100% perfect on the pricing. Sarah says, that looks like a letter-size print. Do you have an 1117 model? Yes, we do. So this is the Prestige A4. This is an entry-level direct-to-film printer, and I used it because it fit. As you can see, I have it right here on the desk next to me. We do have a larger model available. That's gonna be the Prestige R2 and R2 Pro. Those print on 13-inch wide rolls of media. And even though the roll is 13 inches wide, I believe your actual print width is gonna be somewhere around 12.5 inches, just a hair smaller to cover the margin. But yeah, that would be the Prestige R2 and R2 Pro. Let's see. D is asking, is this more for someone with a business or a home crafter? You know, in my personal opinion, due to two main factors. This is probably going to be best for somebody who's doing this as a business. And here's my reasoning, and this may apply to you, it may not. Direct-to-film printers in general do require regular maintenance. That means that at least every day, in some cases every other day, but at least every day, at the very worst every other day, you do have to perform some basic maintenance steps on the machine. Takes about 5 minutes, and I know because I've been doing the maintenance on this machine for the past couple of weeks. So basically every day, at the end of the day, you want to just kind of clean around it's called the capping station. It's very quick, takes about 5 minutes. You do want to be printing daily. Now what's cool about the DTF Station printers is they'll perform their own automatic head cleanings, kind of like a Sawgrass printer would, but with DTF, because it's different than sublimation, there's a little bit more hands-on required for the daily, or I should say for your end of day maintenance. So if you're cool with that as a hobbyist, awesome. The second reason is just due to the price. This machine, you are gonna be in about $2,000 on the printer itself. In that pricing, you're gonna get, again, it's around $2,300 once you have the film and the inks and all the supplies and everything. Because of that price point, and everybody's different, most hobbyists are probably not spending that. But hey, if you have the money and you want to start printing prints like these, go for it. One thing I will say about direct-to-film transfers is they don't really crack. In fact, so this one, I just printed this, right? Literally, what time is it? 12. It's 1:12. I printed this 15 minutes ago. And so already what I could do is I could stretch it and give it a really hard tug, and it's actually not going to crack. So direct-to-film ink, or I say transfers, once they've been applied, they're very, very durable. It's almost like vinyl, but it's not. It is thinner and lighter than vinyl, but they're very, very durable. They won't stretch super far, but to the extent that they will stretch, they usually rebound really well, but they don't crack. It's a very strong material. So yes, if you want to make really strong, durable transfers like that, you probably should look into direct-to-film. And I will say this, even though this live stream is kind of an introduction or an overview, we have a weekly class on direct-to-film. Our first class is tomorrow. So you can head to heat.press/class to sign up for our direct-to-film class. We have it every week now, where you can get kind of a more in-depth look at the process. But I'm gonna go ahead, enough jibber jabber from me. I'm gonna go ahead and actually press this. And so I have my signature series. Oh, not yet? Okay, sorry. Oh, I'm so sorry. Now we are taking questions live, but one thing that we did, we kind of anticipated as we bring on direct-to-film products is there's a lot of questions because it's such a new and it's such a unique process. So here's what we did. We actually got Vincent from DTF Station, the manufacturers of the Prestige line of printers, and we had him come over here and answer some of DTF's most frequently asked questions. Check this out. Hey everybody, it's Jared with Heat Press Nation, and today I'm very excited to have special guest Vince from DTF Station. Hey. How you doing, man?
Thank you, Jared. Thank you so much for having us. I'm super excited to be here.
Thank you. Well, dude, we're super excited to have you. Now, today, Vince is going to do us all a real big favor. He's going to answer our frequently asked questions.
Yeah, I know there's a lot of questions, and Jared has a list of great questions to answer, so fire away.
Let's do it. All right, so first off, Vince, what's the average cost per print?
You know, it's going to vary depending on your print size, but what's really cool in our software, DigiRip, it has a built-in cost calculator. So we actually factor in your cost per ink, so you can actually update it if ink prices change, film and powder. But honestly, a 10 by 10 design with some negative space, you're probably looking at around 40 cents. 10 by 10, no negative space, probably like 60 cents probably at max.
Wow, and that is that ink and film?
Ink, film, powder out the door.
Okay, wow, that's great. It's pretty good. All right, next question. Is the daily maintenance really that bad?
No, so with any DTF printer, there is going to be some required end of day maintenance. We make it really easy. We provide you a chart that's like end of day, weekly, and as needed. But really it's just going to take a minute or so at the end of day. Again, any DTF printer, there is some level of maintenance, but it's not difficult. It's going to take you a minute end of day.
Nice. And then the DTF Station printers are pretty unique because they do some sort of self-cleaning. Can you explain that?
Yeah, so we've come a long ways, DTF printers in general, specifically our A4, R2, or any printer that we offer, the Prestige line, auto cleans. And so one of the most important things is leaving your machine on. It's on a timer, it auto cleans. Please, if you're watching this, leave your Prestige on, and you're gonna have a lot less headaches to leave it on. Maintenance is very minimal.
Awesome. Now, to somebody who might be really new to DTF printing, what kind of things can they make with the DTF printer?
Yeah, that's what makes DTF so unique and so popular, is that it pretty much goes on any fabric material. So shoes, hats, wallets, t-shirts, hoodies, pretty much any fabric material. Just stay away from hard substrates.
Got it, got it. So if you could wear it, you could customize it.
Exactly. All you need to do is heat press it, and I've seen people get really unique with cap presses and all sorts of stuff to apply it.
Love it. Okay, so how long do the transfers last before they start to peel off?
That's a great question. We've actually tested it. We've thrown them in the washer dryer. Of course, there's suggestions on how to wash it. I don't think anyone ever listens. But we've tested it for about 50 plus washes. It's not a plastisol transfer. It's not plastisol ink. It's not gonna crack after a few washes. I'm sure we've all worn those like band t-shirts that 2 washes and it's coming apart. But the adhesive is really strong. And so I can promise you, as long as you cure it properly, it's about 50 plus washes.
And will it actually peel, or what happens? It cracks? Like how does it wear?
It's a water-based ink, and so over time you might notice some sort of fading, but again, that's at the 50 plus mark. If you wash your shirts more than 50 times, come see us. I'm intrigued what you do, but again, 50 is kind of what I say that you can do.
Perfect. So another question we get a lot is, how long does it take to do one shirt?
It really depends on the actual model that you have. If you're going with something like the Prestige A4, it's not the fastest printer. It's more of a desktop, entry-level DTF printer. Like a 8x8 design probably takes, about 5 or 6 minutes to print. Okay. You can hook it up to a Miro 13, so it's fully automated. So that's really where you get a lot of speed. It powders and cooks it for you. Or if you want to do one at a time and use your Phoenix Air 16x20 oven, which is a great option, honestly, you could probably have a completed transfer in less than 10 minutes.
Nice. And that's just doing one. If you're ganging them, you're kind of lowering your average, would you say?
Yeah, exactly. So that's really how you want to be printing, right? You don't want to do one design and waste the film, right? You want to put as many designs close as possible as you can, especially if you're already ordering transfers. Same concept, gang print them, make sure you get them nice and tight. That way you save film and your print speeds go faster.
Love it. All right, so somebody has their HPN heat press, they have their Prestige A4. What else are they gonna need, I guess, for the process?
Yeah, so that's what's really unique, is that most of our users have a heat press. All they need is the printer, but some things to make the process go actually faster is getting something like your Phoenix Air oven. It cures your adhesive much faster. I don't know if you've tried using a heat press.
I have, and it wasn't terrible, but it was kind of long.
Yeah, it takes a few minutes, and you realize that's kind of the pain point. And so something like this can cure your transfer in about 45 to a minute, and it's cooked evenly. That's the most important thing, is I know when I press it on a shirt, it's not gonna come off, it's not gonna wash off. So it's not just the printer. You do need the heat press, you can get the oven, which makes it easier, but kind of getting everything just makes it a lot easier when you're doing DTF.
Yeah, and to just speak to that heat press thing, like we did do it in a heat press, but then what I noticed, I kept having to adjust between curing and pressing every time. So that was also a pain point for me.
Yeah, you'll see guys holding the heat press there for a few minutes, and it just really slows down your production. If you have something like the A4, it's doable, but once you start getting into like an R2 where it's more production based, your pain point is gonna be the heat press.
Got it. Vince, I wanna thank you so much for taking the time to come by, talk to us about DTF Station. Now, if any of you guys have any questions about these or any other products, feel free to reach out to us directly at 800-215-0894 or at heatpressnation.com. Again, big thank you to Vince for coming by and answering all of our FAQs about direct-to-film printing. So really quick, I do see some other questions coming in, so I'm just gonna tag in on these really quick here. FB says, what would I need to have a whole setup ready to go with this printer, as in what additional items? So, as you saw in the video that we played a little bit earlier, and I think we might be rolling that again in a second, but you're gonna need the printer, and then you're gonna usually wanna have some sort of powdering station. In this video, or in this example, I used what we call a Seismo shaker, where it powders and it shakes the film, and then I cured it in a separate oven. So that's 2 separate pieces. Some people like to get a bin, and this works great, a bin, and they'll powder it by hand, and then to avoid purchasing an oven, they'll cure it under a heat press. I don't like curing under a heat press, only because the fumes that get out there, I mean, unless you have a super well ventilated room or you have a fume extractor set up right next to your heat press, I don't recommend curing in a heat press. So right here on screen, this is the shaker. You could do this by hand in like a little tray, you know, to keep the powder from like getting everywhere. Or you can purchase a shaking machine. And then right after this, there's the oven. Personally, you don't need the shaker 100% if you can do it by hand. I do recommend getting the oven. And then not shown on video, but you can find it over at heatpressnation.com. We do have a powdering, curing combo machine that will actually roll it back into a new roll. So in essence, what you're getting is the printer connects to this automated system and you're going roll to roll from the printer to the completed roll. So this is great if your business is maybe you're doing less t-shirt production and more transfer production, meaning you're selling the finished transfers. In that case, you might want to look at the Miro 13, M-I-R-O 13. That's something that it'll actually connect to the Prestige A4 or to the Prestige R2 and R2 Pro. It holds up to 13-inch wide rolls. And it's a roll-to-roll complete package. So we just launched a podcast last Friday with our guest Michael from Devoted Brands, and he runs a tattoo shop, but his DTF printer, he has it connected to the automated powdering curing station. So while he's tattooing, he's printing off gigantic rolls of DTF transfers. So the way he put it is he's making money while he's making money. And I thought that was really cool. So yeah. But yeah, that would be the equipment you need. And then of course, if you are gonna actually customize the t-shirts yourself, you will need a heat press, which I'm actually gonna show right now. We're gonna show the heat press step in just a second. And you know what, let's go ahead and go for that right now. So I'm gonna go ahead and grab my transfer. I'm gonna grab my blank t-shirt here, and we're gonna go make a t-shirt. Let's go. So now here I have my HPN Signature Series. This is a 15-inch by 15-inch heat press. I do have the splitter stand added on bottom, which I absolutely love. Although I will say this, if you're gonna get a splitter stand, you should get the non-stick cover for the bottom platen. That way your shirts slide on and off like butter. So what I've noticed is because I don't have the cover on this one, you know, and it's like silicone rubber, like it doesn't slip on. So I have to kind of work a little bit more to load it on. It's not like bad by any means, but you know, I do have to work a little bit harder to get it loaded on. And then I'm spoiled, like the other press we have that I demo with, it has the cover and the shirts just slide on and off so doggone fast. And so I'm a big fan of that. So I'm just making sure my shirt is centered here. There we go. I am gonna pre-press it for about 5 seconds. Now when you're pre-pressing a t-shirt, you don't have to apply full pressure. You can kind of just hold it in place. There we go. And that's gonna give me a nice smooth surface to work with. It's also gonna ensure that I don't have any moisture in the garment. I got my DTF transfer right here. And of course, you hear me say DTF, DTF. DTF stands for direct to film. And what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna fold it over itself. And I'm gonna pinch it right at the top and bottom. And that's gonna give me these little creases that let me know where the center is. And that's really gonna help me get this centered. Of course, if my shirt is centered to my press, then I could center the transfer to my press as well. Gonna cover this with a sheet of parchment paper. Now I am using I believe it's Color Max or Color Prime universal film and powder. So this is actually gonna be a hot peel. I'm pressing at 315 degrees Fahrenheit, 15 seconds on the clock with a nice medium to medium firm pressure. And so when it comes out, by hot peel, it's not an instant peel like you would with maybe like a super color transfer or with vinyl. It's a hot peel. So after it opens, I'm gonna wait about 3 to 5 seconds before I peel. So there we go. We got 2, 3, 4, 5. We're gonna start at the corner and we're gonna peel with confidence. There we go. And it's done. All that's left to do now, we're gonna cover it back with our sheet of parchment paper. This is just gonna seal the transfer in. This last step only takes about 5 seconds or so. So I'm just gonna hit that emergency release on my heat press and check it out. I'm done. Again, if I had that cover, I'd be slipping on and off like butter. So check this out. That's it. It looks beautiful. Transfer came out great. I'm always terrible at holding things up to the camera, but look at that. That came out fantastic. So on the press itself, I'm gonna go back here so I can take any more questions. On the press itself, I was probably only there maybe about a minute or so or less, you know, because you got to center the shirt, you got to make sure everything's lined up. Look at that, man. That looks great. I'm gonna go ahead and just lay this out right here. That came out absolutely phenomenal. So I'm gonna go ahead and open up the chat here. If anybody has any questions at all, please, that's what I'm here for. I would love to answer those questions. So thank you. D says, looks great. Jesse, hey, my pal Jesse Gibson's here. He says, looks good. Just Country Girl says, looks awesome. Thank you, yeah. And this was done on the Prestige A4. Now, you might be wondering like, hey, the Prestige A4, it's kind of a smaller print size. I think if you're doing vertical graphics, maybe, but for horizontal graphics like this right here, this is a XXX t-shirt, guys. And it might look a little bit small on here, but this is only like, I think it measures like 4 or 5 inches tall by like 9.5 inches wide. So if I wanted to bump this up to like 12 inches wide, maybe like 6 or 7 inches tall, I could definitely get that done with the Prestige A4. So I have a few projects in mind that I'm working on right now with the Prestige A4 for myself, for a triple extra large wearing guy, all right? So be sure to stay tuned to our YouTube channel and to our socials to see just how big and how many transfers I can make. A big guy like me can make look good using the Prestige A4. Oh, interesting question. Sarah's asking, is the white toner DTF more expensive, and do you have any video links to that? So yes, white toner printers start at $4,000, but with a white toner printer, you don't need a shaker, you don't need any of the peripherals. For white toner, it's just the printer and the heat press. So even though the smaller white toner, it's more expensive, depending on what peripherals you're getting with it, it'll be close. But it's different. So white toner, the pros of white toner are that there's zero maintenance. The cons of white toner is if you're not rasterizing the graphics, it's gonna be very heavy and plasticky, and it's gonna crack when you stretch it. So with this here, with direct-to-film, even though I didn't rasterize it or I didn't do any processing to the graphic, it's still pretty light. It doesn't feel plasticky. I would say it feels similar to like a soft matte vinyl. It's not vinyl, and it's not exactly like vinyl, but that's probably the closest thing I can compare it to. And as I showed with the other one, okay, so this just came off the press. I'm gonna stretch this one. I'm gonna give it a good stretch right here. As you can see, I'm like trying my best to stretch the crank out of this one, and no tears. There's no tears on this. So direct to film, for areas of solid coverage, it's very, very durable. But I get it. Some people, maybe you're running like a seasonal operation. That's fine. You know, you want to be able to put your printer away for 9 months out of the year. Hey, direct to film might not be for you. In that case, yeah, you might want to go for white toner. But maybe you want to be in the business of selling transfers in addition to customizing t-shirts, because transfers are a lot cheaper to ship than a t-shirt is. And what's also cool about it is you got if you're just tuning in, you may have missed it, but you can check out the video on our YouTube channel. We had Vince from DTF Station answer some FAQs, and he let us know that the average cost per print, I want to say for a 10 by 10, on the low end is going to be around like, he said something like 30, 40 cents, and on the high end around 60 cents. Dude, that gives you a lot of room to pad your margin and make some money with direct to film transfers. So I thought that was really, really cool. I hope I'm not confusing anybody talking about white toner, but yes, Michelle is asking, is white toner a laser printer? I'm trying to understand the difference between DTF and white toner. Yes, so white toner, it is a laser system. Direct to film, this printer is a liquid ink system or an inkjet system. And if you want to go really in depth, we do have classes every week. In fact, we have classes on white toner and direct to film. They're separate classes because it's two separate processes. But if you want to sit in on both, yeah, we have classes every week. Depending on the class, we hold classes Tuesdays and Thursdays. And we hold one class per week for heat pressing, sublimation, white toner, and now direct to film. So please head on over to heat.press/class. If you scroll up in the comments, I saw Ronnie posted the link in there a little bit earlier. We have classes for all of those. Great questions. Keep coming in. White toner sounds good for the less maintenance, but IDK, what rasterize means. You know, I'm using these industry terms here that I forget are very nerdy and very specific, so I apologize. Rasterization is a process we use in white toner. It's actually a process that's used across print methods. I use it a lot in white toner. And basically, the short answer is it puts a lot of holes in your graphic to kind of break it up, make it a little bit lighter and more breathable. We have videos on our YouTube. You could just search, go to the HPN YouTube channel, and then search rasterize or rasterization. And we have videos on it that'll do a much deeper, better job of explaining it. But yeah, that's the short answer. Very cool. I want to make sure I didn't miss anybody's questions. Let me head on over. Let me head back to our Facebook channel here just to make sure I didn't miss anybody. Oh, so here's something interesting. So Ernest is asking, do we take Uninet 560 trade-ins? And unfortunately, the answer is no. But for the Prestige A4, there is an upgrade option as long as you're still covered under your warranty, which is a 1-year period, and provided you haven't thrown the thing out the window by accident. Yes, you could actually trade in your Prestige A4 and upgrade to a bigger printer. So let's say you want to start small. You want to start with the small Prestige A4 printer, but your business takes off, it's booming, you're kicking butt, and you're ready to upgrade to the Prestige R2 or the R2 Pro. You can actually trade in your A4 and get credit for it to put towards a bigger machine. To my knowledge, no other printer companies are offering that sort of trade-in. You cannot trade in your Sawgrass, you cannot trade in your Uninet, you cannot trade in your Oki or any other printers, but with the Prestige you can. So I think that's really, really cool. And it allows you to purchase with some confidence. You know, if you're kind of on the fence about what to do when your business grows, yeah, Prestige A4, it's a really, really great starting point. Amanda's asking how much. I'm gonna give you a range only because I don't know specifically off the top of my head. But the Prestige A4 starts, just the base model starts at around $19.95. And then once you add the inks and the films and the powder and the supplies and all of that, you're coming in, I wanna say around $2,400, please don't quote me. For our full selection of direct-to-film products, you can go to heat.press/DTF or heatpressnation.com. You'll see all the banner ads. You won't have a hard time finding our direct-to-film products and supplies. Let me see here. Yes, oh, we have tons of bundles. Great question coming in from FB. Is there a bundle with both the shaker and the oven available? Yes. If you go to, I just mentioned it, but if you go to heat.press/DTF or just heatpressnation.com, find the DTF printers. We have tons of bundles available. All sorts of different combos to match a lot of different budgets that are available. Michelle is asking how much is involved in the daily maintenance of DTF. It depends on your printer, but not a lot. We're working on a video right now. It's gonna go on our YouTube channel. It's gonna actually give you an overview of what's involved so you can have a very clear picture. It's not up yet, we're working on it. It should hopefully be up in the next week or two. But since we're here, can I slide this over? Is that okay? Yeah, okay, cool. I'm gonna show you. Now this is the Prestige A4. It's gonna vary depending on what printer you have. I'm just clearing a little space here so I could bring this puppy into view. Now we weren't quite prepared for this demonstration live, so I'm just gonna kind of talk you through it. But basically what's gonna happen is you're gonna open up the printer, and right in here, I don't wanna tip it because the inks will spill, but right in here, this is the print carriage. You slide this over, and directly underneath, and there's lots of videos on this on YouTube so you can see it, you're just gonna get a cleaning swab and you're just gonna wipe it down in there. What happens is, as your printer is doing its thing, as it's working, there is like ink buildup that gets onto some of the components. And in order to, Vince is gonna kill me. Pretty sure I just did a head strike. Sorry, Vincent. Oh, here we go. So one thing I forgot is you have to move your film out of the way before you do that. So I think I'm in trouble. Anyways, yeah, so you slide this over, and then with a cleaning swab, you just go in and you wipe down. It's like a wiper blade that cleans the print head. You wipe that down. There's another piece called the capping station. Honestly, if I would have been prepared to show a cleaning right now, I could have it done in about 2 to 5 minutes. 5 minutes is a worst case scenario. And when you're done, you have to do a head cleaning and print a nozzle check. And that just, all of that whole scenario takes about 5 minutes. So it's not really anything bad at all. It's really, really easy. But don't forget to move your film out of the way before you do that. Do not do what I just did. Here's a great question. Does the ink last the same comparing with the inks for sublimation? Also, does it have the maintenance waste box? So ink is gonna be different. Ink is gonna be, if we're talking about like price per milliliter, ink is much cheaper for a DTF printer than for a sublimation printer, but you do go through more ink. I haven't been using these long enough to have like a direct comparison, but if you're thinking about the cost per print, I would say it's about the same, because when you factor in the ink, the film, and the powder, you're anywhere from 30 to 60 cents on a 10 by 10, right? Thinking about sublimation, if we're talking about, well, in that case, there's no powder, but the paper and the ink, yeah, 30 to 60 cents for a 10 by 10 covered in ink. You may be actually closer to like $1 on sublimation, paper and ink, because for a 10 by 10, you're using a bigger sheet, right? So I don't know, I would say this is probably just a little bit cheaper on a cost per print basis. That's not factoring the ink that you lose when you do head cleanings, you know, but I would say it's just a hair cheaper for direct to film. And yes, it does have a waste collection unit. I don't want to take it out because it's, maybe, let me see if I can take it out. I just don't want to spill. I've already messed so many things up today, so whatever. Par for the course for me. But yes, on the back of the machine, this is it. I actually should be dumping this very soon. And I want to be careful that I don't mess it up. But yeah, there is a waste collection tank. There's a tube that plugs into it, and that goes into the back of the machine. And that's also part of the maintenance. So you have your end of day maintenance on the machine, and then you also have your end of the week maintenance, which is where you dump that tank. You do a few more steps. Again, check our YouTube channel. We do have that video coming out pretty soon, where we do a general overview of the maintenance required. But I know for a fact on YouTube right now, there are videos that do show it. So go ahead and check that out. Alrighty, I think that's gonna be it. I don't see any more questions, but I'm not in a rush. So if you have any questions, I'll go ahead and put them through. Yeah, this is another t-shirt that I printed that I really like. The graphic. Okay, what's fun about this shirt is this started off as a design for vinyl, but I did not want to cut and weed all of those layers, right? Now we did something unique with this one. This graphic, all the black outlines of the artwork, we actually just deleted that black layer and we let the shirt kind of fill that in. So that's another way to kind of just make it softer, make it lighter, give it a little bit more breathability. But yeah, that's really cool. That's another graphic we did. And then to recap, this is what we pressed live today. This is our Heat Press Nation racing team. Yeah! Super cool graphic. In the video I was wearing, I have a bigger version that we printed on our R2. R2. We printed on that one, so it's super exciting. Alrighty, on the Sawgrass, do you replace the waste cartridge or dump it? Sawgrass, something totally different, but yes, that has a cartridge that you dump and replace. On this one, on the Prestige, you just empty the tank. Great questions. I'm gonna do one more sweep of Facebook. I don't know where all of our Facebook people went. Here we go. Yeah, I don't see any new comments coming in. So yeah, it looks like that's gonna do it for us today. If you have any questions at all, please feel free to give us a phone call. Our number is 800-215-0894. If you're watching the replay, you can find that in the description. And then, of course, it's right here, heatpressnation.com. You can check out our full selection of direct-to-film printers, equipment, and supplies. We're so happy to have DTF at HPN. It's been a really exciting couple of months for us over here. And I am stoked. If you guys know me, you know I'm a print nerd. So having new toys to play with, it's pretty cool. Again, any questions, I just said it, feel free to reach out to us. Hey, for everybody here at Heat Press Nation, my name is Jared. It's been an absolute pleasure, and we hope to see you around. Heat Press Nation is pleased to announce the expansion of our direct-to-film selection. Introducing DTF Station printers, supplies, and equipment. DTF printing has been experiencing a huge surge in popularity the past few years, captivating print shops worldwide with its capabilities. These printers enable shops to maintain full color transfer production in-house. Given the stability and the resilience of the cured transfers, they can be shipped to clients who then apply them using their own garments and equipment. This effectively serves two distinct sales channels with just one printer. Add DTF printing to your business with the Prestige A4, R2, and R2 Pro direct-to-film printers by DTF Station. These machines are complemented by DTF Station's powdering, curing, and roll-to-roll processing machines, in addition to a full selection of DTF materials and supplies. These machines come with detailed online tutorials and free lifetime technical support. If you're looking for DTF, you can find it at HPN.